We just got an awesome deal under contract in Dallas. When I first saw it, I wasn't super excited, but we went ahead and asked ourselves the question, if this offer gets accepted, like what would we be excited about? When we first ran numbers, the owner, he was open to seller financing. He wanted a 5-year repayment period. And even though the purchase price was only about $120,000, a 5-year repayment period at his asking 7.5% interest would have been about a $2,500 a month debt service, not counting all of the vacancy and maintenance reserves and HOA dues and all of that. And it just didn't make sense. It was going to be cash flow negative over $1,000 a month. There's an argument for it, especially if you're going to have a free and clear asset inside of 5 years. And then from that point forward, it's almost pure cash flow minus your HOA dues and your vacancy and management fee. So at first I wasn't super excited, but we asked ourselves what would make this an awesome property. We ended up submitting an offer above his asking price, but with the caveat that we were only going to pay 5% interest. It was going to be interest only, a balloon payment after 7 years, and a 10% down payment instead of his asking 20% down. At the end of the day, we had a couple of tweaks to it and a couple of tweaks to the closing costs, but we got it landed. I'm going to share the numbers, share the video walkthroughs. It's an awesome property. My client is going to have a 7-year interest only seller carry in a great area, and it's going to be cash flow positive from day one. It's already pre-leased for 2 years, so for 24 months, and really a great way to pick up an asset with less than $13,000 out of pocket. Like an awesome play. So I'm excited to share it with y'all. All right, guys, I want to talk real quick about some back of napkin numbers. I didn't do this in our regular pro forma worksheet that I use just because I didn't want to jack it up with a lot of funky interest-only loan payments. So I just ran it really quick in a Google sheet. Nothing fancy. Real estate is not a fancy business. You can make it very, very simple. So in essence, we're looking at a $127,000 purchase price. We were able to negotiate a lot on this deal, and we're able to land on some very favorable financing terms. The owner is going to carry paper, so it's an owner finance at 5% interest only, and it's going to be an 84-month or a 7-year balloon on this deal. We're going to do a 10% down payment, so just under $13,000 down. No bank closing fees, obviously, because it's an owner financed transaction, so 10% down, and then a monthly payment comes out to $476. The unit is actually already pre-leased on a 2-year lease for $1,650 per month. So that's awesome. The client's going to walk into a cash flowing unit right away. Insurance on these condo units is rather cheap, actually. And a lot of times you don't need additional condominium coverage, but I always suggest it for my clients anyway. Vacancy rate, we're going to set aside a vacancy buffer anyway, just because it's a good habit to get into. And you don't know if that $1,650 client is going to be staying there forever. But we're setting aside a vacancy reserve. We're also setting aside a maintenance reserve. Here's our debt service number, even though it's not really debt service, it's just to service the interest. The management fee, we always set aside an 8% management fee for all of our units. Taxes on this are coming out to $107 a month, which is amazing for a Dallas property. The HOA runs at $347. Utilities are zero because they're covered by the tenant. CapEx reserve, 10% of everything we take in, make sure that we set it aside. That's just good fundamental practice. So at the end of the month, you're actually setting aside almost $400 in savings. This is in a growth fund, in something that you don't touch. Don't get excited when you see this number start to really grow by the end of the year and you've got $5,000 sitting in an account. Reserve it, keep it for your vacancies, keep it for the expenses that are going to come up, and just let that money grow. At the end of the day, even after all of your reserves, you're still looking at a cash flow of about $100 a month. Hit like $1,550 per month in expenses, and it's already leased out for $1,650. How amazing is that? So quick run through of the numbers. We're all scribbled through now. You can't see nothing. But anyway, you get the idea. Total expenses sitting right here at $1,550. Total income at $1,650 per month. $100 per month in pocket positive cash flow, a total cash outlay of about 13 grand for a condo in Dallas that's on a 7-year note, right? So you'll be able to hold this thing interest only for the next 7 years and then decide on your next financing strategy, whether that's going to be do a cash out refinance, do a value add, and then sell it in 7 years and see where the market is. Lots and lots of options. So I'm very, very pleased about this play. I think it'll be an excellent option for our client, and I can't wait to get this thing closed.